Shout out to my dad, Colin, because I feel like I have to say which dad I'm talking about. Um, Yesterday on his movie interview, he said it was for After Yang, and the woman was like really dressed to the nines, and Colin was like wearing something like this on like his couch, and his pillows were like a mess on his couch, and like he just looked like he just rolled out of bed like this. And the woman was like dressed to the nines. And I was like watching it and making a comment about it. And Colin said to the lady who was dressed to the nines, he was like, you know what? It's just, you need to listen to my daughter. It's just really, really inappropriate for you to be dressed like that at a time like this. And she was shooken. She was shooken and stirred. And yeah, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And, you know, here I am crying again. I could just cry like forever. I think there must be a void, a demon pocket somewhere where it's just me crying for eternity. And I think that's where I'm headed because I just could cry forever. He also said that Chris Evans is way out of my league, which made me watch the interview. So it's a sort of a double entendre, if you will. Because I'm like, what the fuck do you mean, bro? And that is all four of the Avengers from every corner of the globe. I think every Avenger in all four corners of the globes was just like, wow, wow, bro. Alyssa's out of her league, out of her own league. What do you know? Make it make sense. You know, Alyssa's not even good enough to marry herself. What do you know? Can you imagine somebody saying Chris Evans is out of my league? I literally can't. Of all people, Chris Evans, really? Um, Of all fucking people, it's like, just add that to the list of why I need to be crying. Um, you guys, why am I here? Why am I here? Um, am I gonna puke? I'm feeling queasy. So much happened yesterday, guys. I don't even know. And I was like crying hysterically. I don't know. I did some crazy ass space surgery that was like making me sob crying. I'm like, what is up with this? Like, why is the universe making me cry so much right now? It was like the craziest space surgery ever where um it's like I could just hear my mom and dad be like, who the fuck would say Chris Evans is out of your league? Do they know you, Alyssa? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I could just like imagine that conversation with my parents, like at dinner, like out at dinner. And anyway, some sentences I just can't get over. Is any of this real? I feel so sick, guys. And I'm trying to tell you guys what happened. Okay, so oh, I feel so sick. Oh, am I gonna puke? Mm. I saw Lyrans and like uh I want to say the blue avians sort of hyperimposed on top of each other last night, sort of switching back and forth. Blue avians and Lyrans, and they looked beautiful. Like when you see like space, and they look like they're from space. They look like they're from an intergalactic color palette that doesn't exist on Earth. That's what it looked like. So the blue avians are real. They're definitely real aliens. I met them last time as well, and I was on anxiety medication last time, and I used to take the smallest piece of my anxiety. I got the smallest, it wasn't Klonopin, but it was something like Klonopin. It was Ativan. I was on Ativan, and it was the lowest dosage of Ativan that you could possibly get because I didn't want to get like addicted to pills or be a pill popper. And I hardly took them until I started having my crazy ass panic attacks from space. And then even when I would take them, then I would take, it was the lowest dosage. I always got the lowest dosage of Ativan, and I would take a quarter of that tablet to calm down. So it was literally like the tiniest minute amount of Ativan. And they said that every single time I took a quarter, this is what the energy said, every single time I even took a quarter of that anxiety medication, I would die. So that was a lot of deaths when I was taking my Ativan medication that I personally died. If that's true, because the energy was saying that. That's crazy. That like so like the human condition can't even take like an and I don't want to get you worried if you're taking anxiety medication or whatever, but because this is like an occult subject. But that's just what the energy told me. And I remember sitting on the couch one time during my panic attack, and I think I took like a quarter of the Ativan, and I fell asleep. And it was like this meet and greet process. I think I was with Ryan. I was like at one of his events, and Corey Good was there, and it was like a meet and greet with all of the aliens of the universe, with Corey Good and Ryan, and a line of literally aliens coming to meet and greet me, and I would shake their hand, and then another alien would come and I would shake their hand, and it was just like a long line of a meet and greet. And I was just like, this is so crazy. It was like so intense. Like everything was so intense that I didn't need to go anywhere or like hang out with anyone. It was just like I was going to a therapist at the time, and I would go and talk to the therapist about it. I was like, it's so intense. I don't have to go anywhere, do anything. I'm just sitting on my couch and I'm doing like all these things. It's the weirdest thing in the world. And that's when I decided to try to wean myself off the anxiety medication because I was like, is this a side effect of the anxiety medication? Clearly it wasn't, but ugh, there are so many aliens. And yeah. Yeah, it was just crazy, like meet and greet. I feel so sick, guys. Did you guys watch the new episode of Last of Us last night? It was really good. I didn't want it to end. I wanted it to keep going like the video game. Just keep going the whole way through, like walk through the whole thing like we do with the video game. It was really good. They changed the writing. So there was a lot of different scenes. There's a therapist scene where Joel goes to a therapist in Jackson, which I thought was extremely against Joel's character. Um, Joel's video game character, because he's like this rough, rugged man that would like literally never go see a therapist. Like it's just like one of those guys that would never go see a therapist. And he's like this soft man that like literally wants to talk about his little girl's feelings. And he talks about being Bella's Ellie's father in it too, which they never mention in the video game. And I thought that was an interesting addition. Plus, they have Caitlin Dever or Denver, whatever her last name is, playing Abby, and she's just like such a scrawny version of Abby, like not a badass bitch at all. And it's just like, couldn't you find like a muscle mommy to play her? Like, why would you have, flabby arm like Carolyn Denver fucking play her character and just like, you know, not represent Abby at all? And my brother Adam's like, "Who's Abby? Who's Abby?" And I'm like, "Do you want me to ruin it for you and tell you like what happens in the video game, or you just want to watch it and find out? Like I can tell you who Abby is, but I can't believe you never watched Last of Us 2. Like you should go home and watch Last of Us 2." And because she's the biggest badass on the planet, in the video game, and like she played, like they drew the character so well, and she's just like so perfect in the video game. Um, like I think you might enjoy it. And, Owen is perfect too, even though it's looks a lot like my brother, but not my brother Adam, but my other brother David. But they cast somebody that looks more like a short-haired Alex, which is fine. And then they have like all these other people. I don't know if the black girl in the group is Nora or not, or if she's like a completely different character. Um, excuse me. Um, but all in all, it was pretty good. So I had this crazy surgery last night where they're like, we have to pull her out. We have to pull her out. And so we have to pull her out. We have to put her back in. Like we have to do both. Like it's happening to like multiple versions of her or something. And they're like, you're already home safe in Ireland. And I'm like, I'm already home safe in Ireland. How the hell am I already home safe in Ireland? I'm here in New Jersey at my parents' house. And I'm like, did I literally marry Colin in 2017? And I literally went into a coma because of it. And like that version of me is literally in a fucking coma and they're like trying to wake her up so that like I can be with Colin. And then I started crying about that. I'm like, there's no way this is like fucking real. And they're like literally trying to wake me up married to Colin in another body, and like he just took me home to Ireland like because he can't stand the United States or something. Was just like, I'm just taking her to Ireland, like I can't stand you, like United States. And if you are European, you understand that statement. And I'm just like, am I literally in a fucking coma and I'm already married to Colin? Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, where the fuck am I? Like, what level am I on? And they're like, this is fallen earth. Like, you fell to fallen earth. And it's like, are we falling again? Like, it was just like such an intense. They're like, nothing's real, Alyssa. Like, none of this matters. And it was like such an intense surgery. I was like, oh my God, what's about to happen? Um, I'm seeing faces like all over the floor of like different creatures, different aliens and stuff. So it's like sort of on Space Codes, sort of not on Space Codes again. Fresh is fascinated with the backyard, and he'll just like stand in the backyard and just stare. And then, like, he just stares for so long, he takes a seat and he's sitting as a little dog in the yard just staring. And I'm like, and I like try to like see what he's looking at, and it looks like energy. Well, then Giselle Coy was like, these are energy waves coming in. They're energy waves because you can sort of see it. And then if you look sort of harder, you can see people, but they're not solid, and it's not like super organic people like major space codes when they become completely organic and whatever and like looks sort of solid, but it's just sort of like a little impression of people, I guess. And then I hear them saying, can she see us? Can she see us yet? Can she see us? And Fresh is just like fascinated. And so I'm just like with Fresh outside and I'm like, okay, Fresh, what are we seeing? And Fresh is my little dog. That might have been 2018. I don't know, sometime around there, but with a meet and greet. Oh, and then thinking about like I saw Henry Rollins walking into my apartment sometime around 2020, 2021, bathed in golden light. And my mom at the time, I believe Isabel Green, she was like, "Is that what you want?" Because remember I told you about the how the time I married Henry Rollins or whatever. Is that what you want? Is that the man that you want? And I was like, "Yes." And it was like a younger Henry Rollins too. It wasn't the older version of him. But he literally was walking up the stairs. Um, my apartment at the time had these big stairs out the front to get even into the first floor of the apartment. And he was walking up the stairs to get into my apartment. And my mom was saying, "Is that the guy you want?" And I was like, "Yes." And it was like he's coming over, but he never came. And it was like, was that like a version of a level where he actually did come and then that caused the fall and caused Last of Us? And all of those memories were erased. And I told you some of them, we got some of those memories back, and it felt really not perfect to marry Henry Rollins. And it was more like a platonic, it became like a platonic arrangement almost immediately. And we had to go get Dina. And I told you guys all that. And it caused Last of Us like right away. And and it was like, was that entire did that entire timeline happen on like a lower timeline? And all of my memories were erased from it because I was held in a space bubble, and I was like in a coma in that level or something. Like all my memories are getting erased of being married, you know, to important men, and it's because it keeps causing Last of Us, and it's like, why is that happening? You know, I think he traded you in for a younger version named Dina, and that's not what we saw at all. And Dina's not younger than me. Dina's my Dina is my age. The Dina in the that they hired is like whatever. She's like whatever. She's just like there. Um, and like there was another time that Spirit told me that three of my boyfriends were coming over to get me, and they were gonna decide, or we were gonna decide together which one I was gonna marry. And it was all because they were listening to me and Ryan needed help. And so it was Ryan, Julian, and Kuba, and they were all going to come over together. And so like I cleaned my apartment. Spirit was like, "Clean your apartment. They're coming over. They're coming over." So I was like cleaning my apartment, and they never came. And I was like, "What is this? Like, why is Spirit like lying to me like this and saying like that I'm going to get help and that these men are going to come over and help me, and that they never come?" to help me. Like, what is this? And then that's basically just became my life for the last 10 years, and I never figured out why that's happening. I feel like that's like the problem we're trying to figure out right now. That's like the problem we're trying to figure out this year, like why this keeps happening. And I keep getting help offered to me and it keeps getting rejected by spirit for some reason. Because you really have to be ready to play Last of Us, Alyssa, or it's going to kill all of us. And it's like, it's like the defiance in that sentence. You know what I mean? Is there. The defiance in that sentence is right there. It's like, you don't agree with me. You don't agree with me, the princess from space. And that's what, you know, kills all the human life on this planet. I mean, you just ignore it the whole freaking way. It's like, I have to really be ready to play Last of Us. And it's like, no, I should be at Chuck E. Cheese today. Y'all should not be so freaking angry. um, this is weird. This is a weird space anomaly where the movies are fighting back. Excuse me. Look at this pretty table. I picked out this table for Colin and me's house. It's a rainbow onyx marble countertop and table and chairs. Isn't that pretty? I would probably have that in Hayden's house as well. Hayden and Alyssa's house as well. If I'm good enough for my husband's. Isn't that gorgeous? Okay, so this is the weird space anomaly from last night. I was watching Poltergeist. This is the scene in Poltergeist where the kid is scared of the clown in his chair and he shoots the clown in his chair. The poster says 1988 behind him. It says football night, Super Bowl football. It says Super Bowl 1988. 1988. Why does it say Super Bowl 1990, 1990, 1988? Poltergeist is a movie from 1982. It even says that, like, if you go to it even says Poltergeist 1982 in the title. I was watching it on YouTube. There's free movies on YouTube. See, Poltergeist 1982. You guys see that? 1982. So why the fuck does the poster say 1988? When do you ever have a Super Bowl if you understand football? Like, I would never have a poster that says 2030, Super Bowl 2030, a poster for Super Bowl 2030 in 2025. 1982, and it says it underneath of it too. It says horror. It says horror 1982 underneath Poltergeist 1982. And the poster says 1988. I was 2 years old in 1982. Okay, so I think Carol Ann is like four. 1980, I would have been eight. So I think I would have been like the boy's age. How crazy is that? I think there's the movie's fighting back. The movie is filling the movie itself is fighting back. It's filling with space anomalies. The movies are fighting back. Remember that happened to Black Widow too? It said 143, the license plate in Black Widow said 143 EJG, and then it changed 143 EJE. And I was like, is it Evans? Alyssa Evans? Like I married Chris over that time. And so the movie fought back and was like, her last name isn't Janello anymore, it's Evans because it's EJE, Alyssa Joan Evans. And now it's doing it again, where it's changing. Why would the poster say 1988? You would never have a Super Bowl poster for the future. 2030. It's always in the past. The Super Bowl is always in the past. You're like, this is the Super Bowl. My team went to the Super Bowl in 19 or in 2020. So it's like this film didn't take place in 1982. It took place in like 1990, I want to say, or something like that. If the poster says 1988, so it's like it says like 1990, and then they got like a poster from 1988 when like a Super Bowl they want to remember. Like that would make sense as to why. So it's like a 1990 movie. And there was another weird thing that I didn't really take a picture of, but this blanket here is Jeffrey from Toys R Us. You guys remember the giraffe? Jeffrey from Toys R Us. This whole blanket, if you want to watch the film, is a Jeffrey blanket, and I don't ever remember them making Jeffrey um products. Like I never remember like like a Jeffrey blanket, like your whole room would be Jeffrey. Like it was like he was like the mascot in my timeline, but he was like never made into products in the Toys R Us store, and this was a Toys R Us Jeffrey blanket. And then of course you have the Darth Vader bust. Okay, at least there's something familiar, and that looks like a Rams helmet. It's like their room is very cute. She has this little lamp, and it's like a heart it's like a heart, but it's a flower, and then there's like leaves coming over the heart, and that's like her little nightlight lamp in it, Carol Ann's. And then he has like all this Star Wars stuff all around his bed. Also, I thought it was weird that like the little boy and the little girl shared like a bedroom even back then. But did I just show you how the toy prices went back to normal? This is like from the late 70s, and it's $5.99 for a sleeping case, which is a pretty fancy um, it's a pretty fancy toy for $5.99, but that makes sense for the, late 70s, early 80s prices. So the prices went back. This Barbie was $297. That makes sense. Those were $399. That all makes sense. I think these are fashion packs for $3, $2 to $3. That makes sense. This is my apartment in New York City that I don't have right now. Here's my purple Bentley that I ordered. Purple or pink. That means the literal poltergeist is fighting back because Black Widow started fighting back after that movie. So I think that's what it means, is that the poltergeist is fighting back. Maybe Carol Ann is fighting back as well. That movie's crazy. That timeline got replaced by this timeline. We're constantly like, if this already happened, then why are we still here? Why are we still here? Why are we still here on Earth? I don't remember my dreams from last night at all. Um, it took a while to fall asleep though. And then my dad woke me up because he's working on the kitchen today. I think 1D is starting to fill in, and then yesterday was like some of the telepathy was cut out because they were clearing the telepathy downstairs, and then the telepathy started coming back at the end of the day, and it wasn't good at all. And people started turning into zombies right in front of me last night, and and am I safe in Ireland?